The man, a bulky, dark young fellow, lay with his face in the gutter, a cigar still drooping from one corner of his mouth. But the keys were in the ignition. Hastily, Court sprang into the car, turned the key, and pressed the starter. He really expected no response. To his surprise, the battery painfully turned the cold engine over. Court dared waste no more time. He glanced around. With a gasp of relief, he saw that the shining bodies of the carriers had halted. They were at least 100 feet away, and there might still be time. He kept his foot down on the starter. The motor caught and abruptly died. Viciously, he manipulated the choke. "Get ready to run," he warned. But again the motor caught, and Court gunned it with great care. The echoes boomed out thunderously in the canyon of the street. Li Yang and Scipio sat tensely beside Court, more afraid of this noisy invention than the incomprehensible carriers. "They are coming toward us," Scipio reported in an undertone, feeling for his saber. "I shall get out and hold them back till—" "No!" Court let out the clutch. "Stay where you are!" The car jerked into motion. There was a sickening moment when the motor sputtered, coughed, and almost stopped. Court jammed down the gas, heard the exhaust pipe crack open with a deafening roar. Then they were plunging forward. But the carriers were ominously close. Into Court's mind came a weird, illogical thought. Pillars of fire and smoke. Was that it? It didn't matter, for two of them, directly ahead, were gliding toward the car. He spun the wheel, skidded on the slushy pavement. He shot between the two monsters, missing them by a hair's breadth. The sedan rocketed on, gathering speed. Court swallowed hard and wiped the perspiration from his forehead with the back of his hand. "Narrow squeak. This is a one-way street," he added with wry humor, "and we're going the wrong way. But I doubt if we'll get a ticket." They crossed 6th Avenue, then 7th, and turned left on Broadway. Court headed for the Holland Tunnel. Before he reached the tube, he sighted a tangle of wreckage which told him that the route was closed. Hastily, he turned north along the Hudson, hoping he could get through at the George Washington Bridge. The ice-bordered river flowed past silently, unruffled now by any boats. In the distance, the Jersey Palisades were traceries of frost. No smoke at all rose on the skyline. "Gods!" Scipio observed. "This is a world of wonders, Court. What is that?" "Grant's tomb," said Court. "Let's see what the radio says." He switched it on, but got only static. He turned the switch off, for he did not know the battery's strength. He had almost a tank full of gas, he saw, and was grateful for that. Yet it would not take him to Wisconsin. He would take the straight western route toward Chicago, and then cut northwest, unless he could find an airplane. But in this disorganized area, Court doubted whether one would be available. They all must have been commandeered. The bridge was open. They shot across, disregarding the glaring speed limit signs. Court found the highway he wanted. He sped on, seeing no sign of me. He was reminded of the last time he had driven across the Wisconsin hills, with Marion at his side. It almost seemed as though nothing had happened since then, for the landscape was still incongruously peaceful. Only one thing betrayed the existence of the plague: the occasional wrecks seen beside the highway, and the absence of traffic. An airplane startlingly roared overhead against the blue. But Marion was not here. Court realized that he missed her. She was the perfect complement for his mind, the ideal assistant. There was something else, too, but Court subconsciously steered away from the thought, refusing to let himself realize why he missed Marion so profoundly. He could see her clearly, a slim, brown-eyed girl. Rot! Such thoughts wasted time, and there was no time to waste. Sitting beside Court now, crowded uncomfortably in the front seat, Scipio and the huge Li Yang writhed uneasily. They typified the whole new set of factors which Court must integrate into the problem facing him. His mind began to work at lightning speed, analyzing, probing, discarding. Swiftly he went over the problem as he drove the car instinctively through New Jersey. Scipio crawled over into the back seat and went to sleep. Li Yang stretched luxuriously, holding out his plump fingers to the car heater. "Great magic," he said with satisfaction. "Not that I believe in magic, but the word is a handy one." The sedan thundered westward. End of chapter 15.